Hey guys! Welcome back to Let's Play Final Fantasy V! Last time we arrived here at a brand new village, the village of Mua. Well, at least we know we're close to the forest now. Anyway, let's start talking to some of the people around here. Now, when we encountered Shote in the previous episode, I'd forgotten to mention, there was the one guy that said he came from an area to the far west, and he came through a cave, he saw a giant eyeball and almost died. That was supposed to be your indication to go get Shote, because he has a giant eyeball. Made me think of Final Fantasy IX more than Shote and, you know, the weird deformed beast, but what can you do? Legends say 500 years ago, something extremely beautiful was sealed somewhere in the forest to the east. Well, I guess that's where the forest is. Greed results in evil. Yeah, pretty much. But I'm still going to continue to be greedy because I want things and stuff. And dinner. Mainly dinner. Anyway, you peek through small holes in tree trunks, they may speak to you. Interesting. Trees are alive. Of course they're alive. This is an RPG. And I think all of these are empty. They are. When I was lost in the forest of Mua, a funny little creature helped me out. Wait a minute. I know those creatures. They make good dinner. I'm not going to eat them. Why would you think that? God, you guys are crazy. Anyway. The very back of the Great Forest of Mua is the Master Tree, which stands guard over the seal. Well, that's where we want to go, so we're going to head over there next. But first, let's do a little bit of exploration in this village here. There's not a lot to do here, but... it's definitely worthwhile. Well, almost. You almost mastered the piano there. Now that we have that, we actually need to return to a previous one, but we can't go there yet. I'll get into that a little more later, but anyway, for now, let's just continue through here. Like I was saying, there's not a whole lot here, but there's a guardian knife. That's nice to have. Hold on to that, and if you approach the back door here, it is locked. And it will be locked until after a certain plot point later on in the game. And at that point, we really want to go there with pretty much all haste because the reward is really, really good. Anyway, here's the end. So let's just take a quick nap here. I should throw... you know what? I was going to throw on dash, but I'm almost out of here, so I'm not even going to worry about it. And nothing in there. And these guys have pretty much the same stuff they had before. However, I'm out of these things, so let's... buy a whole bunch of those. I could use some of those, and I think I'm good on most other things. Lucky Mallet, you may want to pick up a few more of those. And I'll top up, on everything else. And I still have enough potions. Actually, you know what? I am going to buy up to 10 potions. Entirely for using with Phoenix Downs and Combine, though I don't think I'm going to be using a lot of Combine in the upcoming area, but... alright, let's buy some more stuff. There's a decent amount of good stuff to buy around here. We've got new things. You could buy shields. In fact, that's actually not a half bad idea. The diamond helm, I believe I want one of those. The tiger mask. Now, this is an option. You can either choose to buy the tiger masks if you want. I'm going to stick with the bandanas myself for the additional strength. I think this is like 2 more defense and 2 magic defense, or 3 defense and 2 magic defense, but you lose out on 3 strength, so I'm not going to buy those. The Magus robes, I am going to buy 2 of those. And diamond armor, I am going to pick up. One thing to note about diamond armor and diamond helms, and I believe diamond shields, though I'm not 100% sure on that, is they have thunder elemental damage. Diamond armor, diamond plate also does this, and I'm going to pick up 2 depending on how I'm going to use things. I'm still going to make use of the strength robes because they're still good, but in certain situations where I know enemies are going to use thunder elemental damage, I'll probably want those on there. I bought the I didn't mean to buy the Magus hats. Oh well, I meant to buy 2 of the Lumina robes because those are good. And diamond rings, you could buy... should I buy the diamond rings? Yeah, I'll buy the diamond rings. Those do not protect you against any type of elemental damage. The shields, I will think about that. I need to do a bunch of selling of excess stuff. I got way too much garbage at this point. Anyway, let's take a look at some of this other stuff. So yeah, it's only 2 more points, but it protects you against things. And the diamond armor is better than the diamond plate. I like the strength robe a lot still, even to this day. But depending on what you're dealing with, if you're dealing with more magical defense in the upcoming area, then you probably want to deal with that. I'm going to give that to him for now. Not quite done yet. Yeah, if you did not get the Lamia's tiaras, then you probably want the Magus hats, but I don't really want it. 3 extra defense. You lose the magic defense. You lose... I think it protects you against confuse, so you don't want to lose that either. The Lumina robe, pretty much all around better, so we want to put that on. The elf cape, as you saw in previous episodes, it's still providing me that 25% evade, so it's still really, really good. If you have summon, then you want to make sure you keep equipping the Gaia gear. If you do not have summon, then you probably aren't going to worry about it. In the upcoming area, blue magic is more important than summon magic, so I'm going to give you the Lumina and going to give you the gold pin because that will be helpful. There's, I think, 1 enemy in the upcoming area that is weak to fire, but you could put on a guardian dagger. The dancing dagger, even ignoring the other aspects that it has, I'll go into what dance is when we actually start using the class, but it does increase your agility and your magic power by 1, so there's that option as well. Plus, you have a chance at dealing decent damage from the back row if you attack with it, but not that you will very often. I don't think I will be using fire very much, so I'll just give him that, just up his stats a little bit. And here we go. So yeah, I'm keeping the bandanas. Diamond plate, if you want, ups your vitality. Of course, everything does because the bone mail drops vitality by 5, I believe. But it's overall, it's decent. It's a little better than the strength robe there. And let's see, diamond ring. So yeah, that I think going forward is probably going to be a little more helpful. There are certain situations where I'll still want the power wrist on, so I'll be keeping that for later. And I believe that's all that we bought in there. I'll look into shields. I don't think I really need them because I'm not going to be dealing with a lot of shields. Protecting the seal. But anyway, no one can enter the Great Forest of Mua that stretches to the east. Oh, wasn't that why we got that that stick in the last episode? Okay, very, 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 very important. Buy these. Buy at least 2, if not 3 of them, because Air Lances increased wind elemental damage by 50%, and it is really, really good, especially if you pair it with terrain and you go into an area where you use entirely wind slash or gale cut or whatever the hell it is that hits all enemies. It is so broken and so good. Anyway, let's buy some more elemental spells. Elemental spells are good. I do note if you use the sword elemental with any of the level 3 elemental spells and it deals and the enemy is weak to it, you use like the sword magic with it, it'll instantly kill certain enemies, and I will be going over that in a specific boss fight where we can completely nuke them. Cure 3 is good, Wall is the reflect spell, and Berserk is, you know, Berserk. And I'm running out of money, so I'm gonna go sell some of my excess stuff. Okay, sold a bunch of stuff, so I now have enough money to buy quarter, which we've already seen access to, reduces the enemy to a quarter of their maximum HP. Haste 2, which is like slow 2, except for it hastes all of my party members. It's basically like Haste-A-Gun in later games. And the old spell, which I don't really need, but it's there. Anyway, so we've picked up pretty much all that we need to pick up out of this city for now. There's nothing else we can do other than getting that one locked building. And I already rested at the inn, so we're good to go. So now that we've done that, let's get back on the boat, head over here. And once we arrive at this point, we arrive at one of my favorite pieces of music from the game. As I Feel, You Feel. Interesting title for the song. If we've obtained the branch, we're able to come here and it'll open for us. If we do not have the branch, it will not open for us. Forest is accepting us. That was fast. Okay, Mamam, reminding me of the Mamam machine from Chrono Trigger. They are on my list, 1700 HP, weak to fire. They cast Berserk on both party members and their own characters. So when they show up with the mages and they cast Berserk on the mages, it makes life a lot easier. The mages themselves are Mini Mage, 1100 HP, susceptible to pretty much every status effect except for Mini, because they're already Mini. And we can learn something from them. So let's use Flame here, see if we can take down these guys. Not quite. So I hit one with Comet and we'll kind of finish the rest of them off in time. I do want to learn something from the mini mages, but unfortunately I do not have learning on at the moment. So, yeah. It's Fire 2, everyone. I don't think I need Fire 3 for this. Finishes off one, and we'll have Ferris finish things up. The mini mages will just basically cast Tiny Song, which is the blue magic spell I want to learn, and they'll cast it over and over again, but I'm not really worried about it. They also will cast Psych or Osmos, depending on the translation. And why did I do that? Because I forget. Very, very forgetful. And they have a chance to drop the Tricorn hat, which is a hat we've had access to for a little while now. I gotta give you learning while I run into them in likely the next battle. Let's give you the gold pin and your elf cape back. And let's heal you up there. And let's see if we can find another one. There are 2 items in the first stage here of the forest. I want to make sure I pick them all up. Okay, we'll try this again. We'll throw another flame at this guy. You can control the tiny mages to do what you want them to do. If they don't, they're not going to play nice with you. But for the most part, I'm just going to take them down one at a time here. Little Fire 2 action. Fire 3 does way more damage than we need when fighting them. So let's just hope they'll use Tiny Song on Gullif, who has Learning. If not, I will use the... if it even hits, I will use Lena to cast Reset. It'd be nice if that would work at one point. And there we go. Finally learned it. Now, the one thing with this fight is because they're casting spells like Psych and Missing and Tiny Song and Missing constantly, they're going to run out of MP. So you're going to need to cast Reset a whole bunch of times, in my case like 4 times, in order to actually learn everything out of the fight. And when you're in Mini, you're not going to do any damage at all, so don't really try unless you just want to show it off. But anyway, with Learning on, we learn Tiny Song. Not that it's particularly useful, it just does Mini, which is one of the reasons why I wanted to get some extra Lucky Mallets, because that will recover that. And now we can throw Blue Magic back on, which is really useful in this area. Put your gold pin on, and your elf cape, and there we go. Alright, so we've got one of the items. Now there's one more in here, and I believe it's by the entrance to the next area. We have new enemies. Spirit Power, these guys. I have no idea how to pronounce that. In later ones, they're called Gala Jellies. They have 75 HP. They absorb all elements except for Wind Elemental. So you could use Wind, you could use something like Comet. They also have high evade, so chances are you're not going to be able to hit them. So use some spells, or, you know, try normal attacks. Most of them will miss, but Ferris does really well because she has so many hits with her double lances. Chances are something's going to hit it. They only have 75 HP, so if you hit it with anything, they're dead. There we go. Now, oh, really? Bugger. If you're wondering, you can just eliminate background layers if you want, if you're playing on an emulator, and then you'll be able to see where all the chests are. Though, even if you've opened them, they will appear closed. So, like, I'll demonstrate that. We'll go down here, and I think it's That one? Oh, no, they don't. They show that they're open. Never mind. A multi-targeted Arrow 2 spell gets rid of those Gala Jelly guys, if you're wondering, even if there's all 3 of them there. So that's a very MP efficient way of taking them down if you want to. There is an enemy that's typical in here, and that's this guy. Let's get rid of the mages first. Worm has 2700 HP. He is a multiple that allows him to be hit with level 3 flare. Don't steal MP from me, asshole. You're gonna die now. Or not. Let's finish you off there. But yeah, there's a couple different enemies. Actually, in fact, this one, and I think the only enemy we haven't yet met up with, susceptible to level 3 flare in here. So that really effective. You can use Breathwing here, which does a decent amount of damage, so you do want to take care of him relatively quickly. You can use, he's immune to Toad, Mini, Sleep, and Paralysis if you care. But level 3 flare and a normal attack, usually enough to take him out. You tend to encounter them inside the trees there, and later on in the area you'll be able to encounter them outside as well. I'm going to heal real quick here, and then we can move on. I think there's... Okay, it's not over here. There are 3 chests in this area. Alright, after finishing off those guys, I went and double-checked my map. There should be 1 treasure chest here, and I believe 1 more just up here, if I'm remembering correctly now. There's 2 on this side, and then there should be 1 and 1 on the other side here. Yeah, 1 over by the exit to this part of the area over here. Any of the areas that I'm not going to shouldn't have any extra treasure chests in them, so don't worry about that. You're going to get a decent amount of experience and items in this area, so kind of be aware of that. There we go. I was going to say you get a lot of ethers and high potions from the enemies around here, as well as some pieces of equipment. In fact, I think these guys have a chance of dropping a diamond armlet, if I'm not mistaken. They are also the same level, I think around level 36, as the worm enemies, so you can use level 3 flare on them too if you want to. And just look at that, 9 MP, and we cast the flare spell. Using level 3 flare effectively and pairing it with the gold pin is one of the most effective strategies for taking down enemies in the entire game, both with level 3 flare and with level 5 doom even. Alright, now that we've gotten that, the exit is on the tree with the largest hole, for whatever reason. It seems to be our exit most of the time, so let's go on up here. Alright. And the last of the new screens here, we get a cabin. Oh, and after that battle, I happened to win a diamond armlet. I guess I didn't need to buy the extra one that I'd ended up getting. Oh well. Over here we get a giant drink that I won't be using. And if we continue heading up, over to the left there is a save point, which you can use if you're low on MP there. But over here we get an elixir. And if we keep heading up here, eventually we will find a morning star, which I won't be using. And there's 1 other treasure chest that can be gotten in this area, but in order to get it, we need to trigger a cutscene first. And I would like to hit that save point up before I go there, because I have basically no MP left at this point. Get on the save point. And luckily enough, in that last battle, we leveled up to Time Mage and Black Mage. Thing is, that's pretty much all I need to do when it comes to the mages in this game, and this is exactly where I expected it to happen, so I'm actually really happy about that. So we've maxed out all we need to do on White Mage at the last level, 300 ABP, and I think you get like MP plus 10%. Black Mage, let's see, Time Mage, I think what we get from here is MP plus 30%? Or something like that, something I don't need. So I could still work on some Blue Mage a little bit. Red Mage, in fact, is the thing I will be working on, I think, coming up. But other than that, the only other thing that I need to do with the mages is basically swap their abilities around, which means I will no longer be using Black Mage. Like, there's MP plus 10%, MP plus 30%. think HP plus 10% and 30% are some of the skills, and some other things that I don't need. The level 5 ability for the summoner is actually Call, which just calls a random summon for free, no MP cost. But it's so random that it just doesn't matter anyway. So I'm going to be swapping around my characters coming up relatively shortly, meaning that Gullif will start working on White Mage and Time Mage, while Lena is going to be working on Black Mage and Summoner, giving us a little more flexibility when it comes to which types of abilities I can use and different combinations. One other thing that it does, very much like using the Red Mage at all at this point, since it's really not that powerful, is it artificially creates difficulty trying to do that this late in the game. Because at this point, we really need to have really solid, useful abilities on all of our characters. And when, pairing something like White, putting him as a White Mage and then giving him access to Summon is all right, but in certain areas, I'm going to want access to Black Magic and Summon Magic. So I'll have to have him as a White Mage and Len as a Black Mage, and pairing Black Mage with something else, maybe a Time Mage or maybe White Mage, doesn't make for the most useful abilities. So there's a bit of give and take, and it does create some additional difficulty, and I kind of like that. I think it's kind of, this isn't the halfway point in the game. We're probably close to 2/3 through the game at this point, but it does allow some additional difficulty going forward, which I do welcome, because the game, we're level 29 here. We're not over leveled, we're not under leveled, we're probably around where we should be. The enemies in here are about level 35, 36. So we're fighting enemies that are higher level, and we're not really struggling with it all that much. As far as Bart's going, I really want to get that Samurai 1 mastered. If I don't want to, for whatever reason, I'll switch to Hunter at certain times, just depending on what's going to be more useful, because the level 3 ability for Hunter and the level 4 ability for Samurai are two of the most useful abilities you can get in the entire game. Unfortunately, chances are I'm going to be getting them both around the same time when I do my quote-unquote farming for AP later on. And I'll talk about that a little more when we get there. But anyway, I'm going to reset up all my jobs, use some tents, and I will see you at the start of the next episode. So yeah, that's all for this one, and I'll see you guys next time.